I loved my shoe. I wore it at home. I looked in the mirror. I was so proud. And then it was time to go to church. The problem was, how am I going to wear this shoe and walk past my neighbors? I was worried they may see it. I didn't want them to know that I picked up shoes from their bin. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer. And to all of you that keep coming back, hello and welcome back. Quick reminder, if you've never subscribed, just to remind you to click that red button there that says subscribe, and after that click the bell sign. That way you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. In today's video, I'm going to share a bit more about my life with you guys. I really want to share this so that when I talk about poverty and I talk about the poor people, I don't want people to think that I do not know what poverty is, because some people look at you sometimes and be like, oh, see this Ajebota. You don't know somebody's story, or else they share it with you. You may look at me and think I've always had an easy life. I've not always had an easy life. I have come a long way to be where I am today. When I talk about the poor and the needy and, you know, people that do not have, I talk about them from a very deep place because I know what poverty means. I'm going to be honest and say there was a time when I was a Ajebota, you know. Oh, sorry, for those of you that do not know, in Nigeria, if you're a rich man's child, you're called Ajebota. And if you're not, they're called Ajepako. You know, I don't know if they still do that, but that's how they used to. So a lot of people may look at me and think I'm just talking about the poor. I don't know what poverty is. I laugh when I read some comments like that because it just makes me laugh. And I remember I was on the phone, I was telling my sister, I was like, oh, like I was saying to my sister, I was like, well, some people think I'm just this, you know, someone that's never experienced poverty. And she was just laughing her head off. It just makes me laugh. But I think, let me just quickly just share a bit about my life and my experience of poverty. To start with, I have to say, I was born into wealth. I was born, you know, at the time when my father was so wealthy. Like, I can't even explain how wealthy my father was. My father was doing so well. Like he had so many shops. My father was a businessman, you know. He had so many shops. My father was doing so well, you know. He built a massive house. When my father built his house, right, my father's house is a 2-story building, and my father's house has 21 rooms. Okay, now when my father built his house, there was no story buildings in my village and neighboring villages. That's how big it was, and people were coming from far and wide to come and see my father's house. That's to show you, I don't know how else to explain how wealthy my father used to be. My father used to be very wealthy. And by the time I was born, my father was doing so well. That's why I was named Aku. My father named me Aku. I was named Wealth. You know, that's my name. Aku means wealth. So yeah, I'm not going to deny that I was born into wealth. But somehow along the line, I still do not know till date what happened. But you're not going to know. Like, I was a kid. I don't know what happened, but that changed. That definitely changed. So many things changed. My parents split up. My father's business went, you know, wasn't doing really well. And there was just so much struggle. And, you know, things just changed. And I experienced poverty. When I say poverty, I experienced poverty where there was no food. Okay, where there was no food. It was so bad. Like, sometimes when it's funny because it's good that I can talk about it now and I can laugh, but you know, do you know what it is to be so, we were so poor that to be honest, something else I'm going to say, I would say from my experience, I would say you're better off enduring poverty early in your life and then have money towards the end than to have so much money and then all of a sudden, like, experience poverty. No, it's really hard. But let me say something else I really want to say. You know, we were so poor. Like, I can't even explain to you how poor we were. We were so poor that we would make, like, let's say we made lunch. Let's say we made eba, right? And I remember as a kid, and I've always had huge appetite all my life. I had huge appetite. I remember in those days when we make eba to eat, it used to be so small. I would look at the eba and I would be like, I know that eba will not fill my stomach. Do you know what I used to do? I would drink cups of water. I would drink cups of water because I want the water to fill me up first so that the small eba will feel satisfying. That was how poor we were. I walked a long distance to school. I went to school barefooted. Now, if you lived in Nigeria, people won't be surprised that a poor person went to school barefooted. I remember walking past people's bins and looking into the bin to see if there's anything I can get. And I can tell you that I picked up shoes from people's bins, cleaned them up, and I would wear them. You know, some people don't share your story. Oh, don't share your story. You know, it's embarrassing. I don't care. I seriously don't care. That's my past. You know, right now I have shoes. I can buy any shoe I want. There was a time when I didn't have any shoes. Sometimes some people are like, oh, keep your story a secret. Let me tell you why it's good to share your story sometimes. You know, sometimes it motivates other people to know your life can change. Your life can change. There was this particular one that I never forgot. I picked up shoes from my next door neighbor's house, from their bin. I looked at that shoe. I was like, why would he throw that shoe away? I would love that. And I have to say, my father never knew we picked beans. I wasn't the only one. Myself and my younger ones, we picked beans. So we waited until it was dark, and I went with my younger brother, went to the bin, and I picked up the shoes. And I was feeling great about it. I was so happy. You know, my brother went with me. I can't even explain to you how happy I was. I cleaned this shoe, and it was not a brand new shoe, but it was a shoe. I went everywhere with flip-flops. I went to church with flip-flops. That was it. But to school, I went to school barefooted. Flip-flops were not allowed in school. And that shoe that I took from the bin, I cleaned it the best I could. And I really did value that shoe. And I was happy. I was so happy. I couldn't wait for Sunday. I just couldn't wait for Sunday. Something else I have to say, I've always been a church girl all my life. I've always been, like, when I was a Catholic, I was a real Catholic. I didn't, like, I took church seriously all my life, basically. My mom used to say, you're going to be a reverend sister. I've always taken church things seriously. I loved my shoe. I wore it at home. I looked in the mirror. I was so proud. And then it was time to go to church. The problem was, how am I going to wear this shoe and walk past my neighbors? I was worried they may see it. I didn't want them to know that I picked up shoes from their bin. I got ready for church. I wore my dress and everything to go to church. And I wore my flip-flop. And I walked past the house and I walked past my street. And then I put on the shoes. I had the shoe in a plastic bag. And then when I walked past my street, I wore the shoe to church. And on the way back as well, like before I got to my street, I took it off. I put it in the bag. And I wore my flip-flop home. That wasn't my first time picking people's bin. And it was definitely not the last time, you know. And my brothers did the same. Do you know what it is to go to sleep hungry? That it has to be the worst experience of anybody's life. I used to go to sleep hungry. I was always hungry, like. And that's why I hate poverty. I can't even explain to you how much I hate poverty. I hate poverty with passion. I hate people not being able to have the most basic things that people need. Food, shelter, education, simple things like that. I absolutely hate it because I've experienced it. I have experienced it. You know, when I talk about these things, I'm not just saying it about the churches and the not caring for the poor and the needy among them. I'm saying it because it's something I have experienced. You know, I remember... You see, when I'm with my siblings, we joke and we laugh. I remember visiting Benin years ago and I was at my brother's. I cooked, we all ate, and there was still so much left over. I remember calling my brother's neighbors and giving them the pot of food that was left over. And I remember my brother said, did you know this day would come where we will have so much food and give to other people? Like, do you remember when we had no food? And we were just kind of remembering where we would be giving food to people. Like, who would have guessed this day would come? We just kind of talked about it and we laughed. And we were remembering so many things and we were laughing at ourselves. Because I remember when I was young, okay, I remember when we were younger, in the mornings we used to have tea and bread. And we say tea actually meant hot chocolate. It's hot chocolate. So this hot chocolate, right? My father was struggling to feed this whole family. Like, it got worse and got worse and got worse. So I remember, like, you know, in the mornings we used to have tea and bread, and we say tea used to be hot. In Europe, like here, we say hot chocolate. In Nigeria, is Milo or Bonvita. And we used to have this massive big kettle, and you boil the kettle of water, and then you put some, I don't want to laugh, sorry. And then you put some, we throw the sugars in. Oh God, wait, okay. And we throw sugars in, and we put the milk, Bonvita or Milo. I remember when they mix it, you look at it, and the color was just wrong. Like, the color used to be so wrong because you're looking at it and you're like, where is the Milo? Like, where is the quantity of the chocolate and the quantity of the milk and sugar? They were just so little that is just insignificant. start laughing, and I'm glad that I can laugh. So it used to be so insignificant because the kettle is too big and the quantity of the things we're putting inside was so small. I remember when they finished and then they pour for everybody, you're looking at it and you're like, you just kind of like, what is this? Like, what is this? You can't see the chocolate, you can't see the milk, you can't see any of these things because the quantity is just so insignificant. And I remember one day, my brother was the stubborn one. Then I used to be a good girl. I used to be such a good girl. Like, I used to be so peaceful and quiet, and like, I never argued. We used to kind of complain behind and be like, what is this? Like, there's no point. We can't taste it. Like, you can't even taste the sugar. You can't even taste the milk. You can't taste any of the things. It's just so watery. And it was just the poverty. My father was just doing the best he could. So my brother, my younger brother, who happens to be, I would say, the most stubborn, I would say so. This morning we're just making the thing and my father, we're just making the thing, and because it's just us and our father, he used to come into the kitchen to make sure like things are managed properly because he was really struggling financially, you know. So I remember this day we're making the hot chocolate. It's supposed to be a hot chocolate. Was making it in the kitchen, and my brother said to my dad, was like, sorry, can I just have my own milk? Let me control. My brother said to my dad, can I just have my own milk and my own chocolate and my own sugar in my hand so I can just lick, so I can lick. Oh, I can't stop laughing. He said, can I just have my own milk and my own sugar and my own chocolate in my hand so I can lick it? At least I can get a taste. God, I couldn't stop laughing. Give me a second. Okay, he said, can I have my own milk and my own chocolate and my own sugar in my hand so I can lick it? At least I can taste it. Oh God. He said, can I have them so I can just lick them so that I can actually so I can lick them so at least I can taste them. But he said, because there's no point when it's put in the water, I can't taste it. I remember, God. Oh God, I feel like laughing and crying at the same time. And I remember clearly my father said, my father got really angry. And my father had a cup in his hand, and my father... Okay. Oh God, God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh God. Oh God. When he said that, I really got my father angry, and I remember my father was there, and my father had the cup in his hand, and my father threw it at him, and my brother ran out. My brother ran outside. Another funny story that I remember. You see, because we had, like, we tried to get the food we had to stretch longer. So, like, gari for making it, but you know, when the poverty started, we could actually drink gari. Like, if you be like, oh, you can just drink gari if you want. But it got to the point where drinking gari became luxury in my house. Can you imagine that? Drinking gari became luxury. We were no longer allowed to drink gari because the gari we had to be rationed so it can last longer. Poverty is such a bad thing. Oh my goodness. And look at me today. Like, I'm not going to try and brag. I'm not rich or anything, but I have the most basic things that I have, that I need, that I need. And I say to my children sometimes, oh, I don't want to eat rice, I want to eat this. And I'm like, you guys have no clue. And I'm glad they have no clue. I didn't want my children to experience what I experienced. So gari became luxury at my house, that we were not allowed to drink gari anymore. Gari became, we had to ration our gari to last longer. So I remember this day, so when the band does God. Okay. And the thing is that whenever we meet with this, anytime I meet my siblings, we discuss these things and we just laugh. And it's good we can laugh because it's the past, So I remember at a point when we're no longer allowed to drink gari. So my brother used to, like, we had 2 toilets, but one of them was broken. So we're all kind of sharing one toilet. And there's always a queue. People want to, like, go to the toilet because there's only one for the whole house. And we started noticing something, that every time my brother went to the toilet, he was staying too long. And okay, and then if you're calling And then you're calling him, normally you will call whoever is there and be like, oh, hurry up, I need to use the toilet. I remember this day, like, people were started noticing that. We started noticing that every time you're calling him, he doesn't answer, or he will answer like he wouldn't say yes, or like whatever. He wouldn't answer with his mouth open. He'll be answering with his mouth closed. And you know that, okay, this guy normally doesn't stay this long in the toilet. People became suspicious. So bungalow. We lived in a big bungalow. I remember someday we got really suspicious. So one day he was in the toilet and somebody went to check from the window and they found somebody went to check from the window and they found him. Somebody went to check from the window and they found him drinking Gary in the toilet. They found him drinking Gary in the toilet. Oh, God help us. They found him drinking Gary in the toilet. Hi, Chineke. Hi, Yeremenoa. Hi, Hakokowa. So they found that he was drinking Gary in the toilet. I'm like, yeah. So this is what. For now that he has been drinking Gary in the toilet, I'm just, I didn't expect myself to laugh this much. But when I think back, like even when I share these stories with my children, and my children would laugh and laugh, and I just think about what poverty can do. Poverty is not a nice thing. Seriously, poverty is not a nice thing. I can tell you, if I tell you, there's so much about my story. There are people that don't be sharing your story. You have no shame. I'm never gonna be ashamed to be myself. I'm never gonna be ashamed to share my story. I have been to hell and back. I have been through a lot of things in my life. Like, you have no clue. And I will share. If it inspires one person, I'm happy. If it inspires one person, I am very happy. And I hope it gives people hope to know that no matter how tough your situation is right now, don't give up. Something can happen. I remember finishing school. I'm talking about poverty. I remember finishing secondary school. And I had my points when I wrote my jump and everything. I had my points. And I remember I wanted to do law. My father has always said, from when I was little, my father has always said, you are going to be a lawyer. Like, I don't know why, but my father always said it, that, oh, you're going to be a lawyer. Oh, no, you're going to be a lawyer. And my mother used to say, you're going to be a nun, reverend sister, because I was a church girl. I went to my catechism class. I was top. Like, I was everything. I knew the word of God, like, in the Catholic way in those days. I knew my catechism and what do you call it, catechism book. I was going towards law, and I remember finishing secondary school, did my jump and everything. I wanted to do law. But I couldn't get into the university. I had my points. I couldn't get into a university. And I remember this girl's father was rich and everything. And she got less points. And she went in to do law. And I was so not happy. I was like, how can she get in to do law? And I can't go in. You remember, those of you that went to school in Nigeria, the way you have to bribe your way into university. So it's not just about getting the points. You have to still, bribe here and there. I said, how did you get in? Your points are too low. She said my father did it. Like, it was not a secret. Like, it's a very common thing in Nigeria. I couldn't pay the bribe to get into school, to do university. Like in Europe here, I came here and I went to do nursing. I didn't bribe anybody. I just did my exams, passed my exams, telling me other school is hard to get into. It's the best university in Ireland. This is a university in Ireland that needed the highest points. I wrote my exams, got my point, and I chose that university. And guess what? And I sat in my house. The offer came in the post. I didn't need to bribe anyone. I got my points, and that's it. Straightforward. But think about it, that I wanted to go to school, but I couldn't go to school because of money. So I know what it is to be stuck because of poverty. When I talk about how much I hate poverty, and I talk about pastors that can actually help, that decide not to help, when I talk about it from the area of knowing what poverty is and how poverty can hold people back. For somebody not to have food to eat, I can't stand that. Till date, even when I help people back home, old friends or old neighbors or people like that, or things like that, I'm not doing it because I have a lot. I'm not rich. I'm never going to hide that from anybody. I'm not rich, but I can say I am comfortable. I have food to eat. Even till date, I dig deep in my pocket and I send to somebody back home in Nigeria, and they see the money and they think I'm rich, and I know I'm not rich. But the thing is, if I put this amount of euros by the time it gets to naira, it's going to be something to somebody. And when I send these things, I'm not sending it because I am very rich. I send it because I know that my situation is better than a lot of people. I have food to eat. I know I have my own problems, but at least I have food to eat. If I tell you my problems, you will be shocked. You would actually wonder why I still smile. I have so many problems, but I always think about the fact that at least I have food to eat. That's the food to keep you alive. I have clothes to wear. I have shoes to wear. You know, and I think about people back home that actually cannot boast of something to eat. And the reason I feel their pain is simply because I used to be there and I know how bad it was. I used to be there, you know. So I'm making this video for those that do not. When I talk about these pastors with so much passion, I'm talking from my understanding of poverty, you know, and, you know, they can do more. You know, if I can, from my own income, I can send money to help 1 or 2 people. Think about these pastors that are sitting on billions and billions of naira. And when I talk passionately about these pastors, I get angry because I know what poverty is. I have been there. You know, so people are like, oh yeah, I have been there. I have been there. Don't let this hair and this funnel or these glasses and all these things deceive you. I know what poverty is. I know where I'm coming from. I'm sharing this video for 2 reasons. One, that those people that do not understand when I talk about poverty, where I'm coming from, when I talk about the poor and the needy and stuff, those people that do not really understand how much I understand poverty. I wanted them to understand that I have been there. I know what poverty means. And then secondly, if you're watching this and you have struggles and you have, you know, so much going on in your life, those people that are in a very bad place, I just want you to think, if I can move from that kind of poverty to the life I have today, it can happen for you too. No, I'm not a billionaire or whatever, but I do not lack food. I will not go picking somebody's bin right now for shoes to wear. Change can come. Don't give up, you know, don't give up. Yesterday can be, I can tell you, I left home at the age of 17. I started working as a teenager, making my own income and struggling to survive. I can tell you, I know what poverty is. Even as a teenager, when I left home, there were days when I had no food. I'm not joking. Days when I had no food. You know, do you know what it is to be so poor that fasting and prayer becomes your lifestyle? You know, you go to church and they be like, oh, we have 7 days fasting, and you're like, yeah, that's no problem. I'm alright. You know, they say we have 7 days fasting. You're like, oh, that's no problem. I've been fasting since last month. You know, I am saying it. I laugh now because I'm no longer there. Fasting became my life. You know, it became my life. You know, oh God, I'm not even going to go there. Like, I'm not even going to go there. So, just if you're watching this and you're like in a very bad place, I want to give you that hope that things can change. Just hold on, you know, hold on to life. Oh, don't give up, don't give up. You may be in a position to be telling your story like mine tomorrow. And my prayer for you is that one day you too can say, I used to be poor, I used to be hungry, I used to be this, I used to be. I really pray that one day it can become past tense. Keep working at whatever you're working at. And I pray for you, I pray that you have the strength to keep going, strength to keep holding on to that hope that tomorrow is going to be better. And I pray that you too one day will get to the point where you can say, I used to be, I used to be. And you can look at your past and smile because you have overcome so much. I really do pray, I really do pray that anyone watching me right now, that your tomorrow will be better than your yesterday. And with that, I'm just going to say thank you all for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.
It's goodbye, friends. And goodbye, folks.